Okay, this video we're going to show you how to do guide plane reduction guides for your RPD patients. So you can select the teeth that you're going to do the guide plane reductions on, and you can click mockup and then click on 3D print. And then if there's multiple teeth, what you can do is hold down control and then select the other tooth that also needs a reduction. Hit save and then hit design. So now it's going to ask us to load our data. So we'll hit lower jaw, and then upper jaw is our antagonist view. Rotate the image so you're looking down the occlusal surface, and then hit next. And then here you're just going to look down the occlusal surface to get your path of insertion. So you can hit set insertion from the view and then hit apply. Okay, so this is your virtual wax up bottom. We'll hit next here, and then now we're going to place the teeth. So hit A to turn off the antagonist view. It's asking you to select the mesial contact of 19, and then you'll select the distal contact. That'll set the tooth in place. So you just need it in the ballpark here. So mesial to distal. And then from here, it'll jump to the tooth placement tab, where we can manipulate the tooth placement. So what you want is just the wax up, for the wax up to be just slightly bigger than what your actual tooth looks like. So you can turn on the transparency to kind of see through it. If you want, you can hold down control to rotate, so you can kind of rotate it so it matches up a little bit better. And then you could also scale by holding the shift button down, and then you just do a gross scaling. We're not going to worry about the occlusion here, but yeah, you just want maybe a couple millimeter thickness here of the restoration. So if you want, you could also do the cut view to kind of see how well you line up here. So from that view, it looks good, but again, you can hold control to rotate to see if the occlusal table and cusp tips line up pretty closely. And then from a different view, you can do this cross section here to get your mesial distal tilt good. So that looks okay. And we'll jump over to this side, and then we'll do the same. So we just want it slightly larger than the existing tooth, so we can scale it, raise it up just a little bit. Do our cut view here. Okay, so that looks pretty good, and we can hit OK to do our fine tuning here. So this is going to get us into the freeforming tab, and then from here, if you want, we don't need all this extra bulk here, so we can smooth things out a little bit. Okay, so from here you want to go to adapt. So here you want to go to the proximal tab and then hit the down arrow, and then we're going to select the cut with disc tool here. Okay. So what this is going to do is allow us to cut the interproximal contacts by the placement of these discs here. So we have a couple extra ones that we don't need. So if you hover over the circle and then you left click while holding down, you can hit delete, and that'll delete these extra ones that we don't need. I'm going to turn off the virtual wax at bottom for now, and also the full anatomic. So what we're trying to look for is their path of insertion of our RPD. So this looks about right. And then from here we can hit orient discs towards, and then we're going to hit view here. So that's going to make both of these discs parallel to our path of insertion. So then from here you can click the circles and then drag them, and then whatever is showing through the disc is the amount of tooth structure that you'd end up removing when you did your guide plane reductions on the interproximal surface. So you kind of want to adjust it so you get enough of a contact area that the RPD is going to touch, while at the same time not overdoing any reduction, so that you still stay in enamel. You don't want to expose dentin when you're doing this. And then you can also use these little arrows here to change the angulation. So it still keeps the two parallel to the path of insertion, but this makes the tooth reduction against the interproximal surface a little bit more conservative when you got it kind of perpendicular or parallel to the interproximal surface there. Okay. So if you're happy with that, you can, I'm going to turn on the teeth just so you can visualize what's going to happen here. So when I hit the proximal button here, you're going to see that the tooth or the wax up gets sliced exactly to that disc there. Okay. So if that looks good to you, our next part is to adapt the tooth wax up to the underlying tooth here. So if we look at this tooth wax up, it's still got the full pontic, but the minute that we hit this adapt to jaw scan, it's going to cut out the undersurface there. Okay, so you can see this will sit against the tooth there, okay, and against the gums. If you have any thin spots, you can go back and just smooth if you want to do that. Let's turn this off here by hide discs. So if you have a lot of that overlying the soft tissue here, you can go ahead and just quickly remove that tooth, the extra bulk there. So this part's not that critical, but it may help so you get something you can visualize that you've seated it properly when you can see a little bit of the tooth sticking out through it. Okay, so what you would export out are these little overlays that you'd see onto the underlying tooth here, and then you can take your burr and then just since it's parallel to our path of insertion, you can take your burr and then just very accurately reduce that tooth structure there to get your guide planes perfectly parallel to each other. So from here we can hit next. We don't need to worry about the occlusion, so we can hit next here, and then we are done here. So we can hit I'm done, and then we can find our STL files when we hit the Open and Explore button. So these will be our two reduction guides that we can print out.